Thanks for coming. My name is Bill Masulis, the director of the film you're about to see. And I'd like to thank the cinema for putting this film on. They've been really supportive of independent film. I'd also like to thank the traditional owners of this land who somehow allow us to live, work and play here after 250 years of abuse against them. My respects to the Wurundjeri people, to the elders, and my love and solidarity with all Indigenous people all through the world too, especially Palestinians with the tragedy they're suffering at the moment. With this film, it's a very unusual film in its form. On the one hand, it's like a very simple film set in the suburbs of Adelaide and a country town, and a very simple love story. And on the other hand, there's like music and singing going all the way throughout it, so every line of dialogue is sung. And the other thing is that the film is, full of innocence and joy, and I think they're kind of qualities we don't see much in films these days. So that's my other kind of radical kind of input into this film. At the end, we'll have a short Q&A. We won't spend forever talking about it. I like the primary source, as they call it, the film itself, but we will have a bit of a yak, and that's basically Q&A moderated by Melinda O'Connor, who is a film reviewer, and she runs the 3CR film show called On Screen. So stick around for that, and yeah, let's get cracking. Cool, thanks. Looks like some people at the back really enjoyed it. Yeah!
Well, it's his 11th feature film. Writer, director, song deviser, lyrics and melodies, editor and producer of My Darling in Stirling, Bill Masulis. So congratulations on your delightful and bittersweet 11th feature film, which is a huge achievement in any part of the film screen arts, but especially in the independent sphere. And most music films have singing plus spoken word, and it's rare to have a musical film that is sung all the way through. So were you aiming for a high degree of difficulty with My Darling in Stirling?
Well, it's always difficult making films on a low budget, but I really wanted to explore that particular form of the all-sung through musical. Being a big fan of the films of Jacques Demy, like The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, is what the film is based on, with its themes of innocence and loss and melancholy. It's for those in the audience who make films, like low-budget films without funding. Yeah, sure, it's difficult, and we do what we can, and you just kind of work with what is at your disposal, and that actually creates a film that is even like more raw. If you have money, if I made this film with money, it would be completely different. You'd get these kind of bland actors, kind of schooled in TV, and whereas some of the people I've got in there like have this kind of rawness to them, which is really tremendous, and I think it shocks a few people in the audience as well.
Well, yes. Well, can you tell us about casting? Because talking of the actors, the whole cast is wonderful, and I must say I've seen this before, the film, but it was on a small laptop, and I just realised that I was smiling all the way through, and it was just so great to see it up on the big screen. It just as it was meant to be seen. So let's start. Your lead actor, Amelie Dunder, plays Emma, and she just embodies such youthful openness to life. Can you tell us about casting and auditioning? What did you put out? You must be out of mine.
Well, like I say, when you cast a film, like even a low-budget film, like you can't pay the actors, but you get a plethora of people coming to you, and like I said a moment ago, like people kind of schooled in TV and people with pretty looks, and it's like it's so boring. And in the end, you know, with Emily, I could sense straight away that she actually really had this kind of innocence to her, and also an intelligence, which is at play in the film as well. And for some of the other people, you know, the key is also because of this kind of film, the film it is, we're looking at ordinary people. We're looking at recognisably ordinary kind of faces. You know, the lead male, you know, the cad who kind of, you know, goes off with another girl. You know, he's got those more traditional kind of good looks, and of course that suits his role, and that's all fine. And the brother, everyone loves the brother, even if they just love to laugh at him. You know, he's got this kind of naivety and this kind of rawness and spirit to him that is quite beautiful, and so it was a real kind of joy working with him. Yeah. Well,
another character in the film is the actual town of Stirling, filmed in that autumnal splendour, and with bookshops and cafes, and where motorists slow down for crossing ducks, and it's the sort of place you want to go and live. How did you discover Stirling?
Well, it's there in the Adelaide Hills, and you know, it's actually in real life it's a bit kind of different to what I portray. It's got. I guess I portray it as kind of idyllic in a way, but it's actually got real kind of a real alternative scene there. Like a lot of artists live there. That famous novelist J.M. Coetzee, he actually lives there or nearby, and so it's got this kind of you know, there's a line that the aunt says about it's full of alternative schools and no hoons and no police. And it's kind of like you go to Stirling and there is no police station there, you know, and there is no crime. Until that one day when the film premiered at the Adelaide Film Festival 12 months ago, and just that day or a few days beforehand, these teenage kids burnt down an entire shopping centre. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Just going back to the technical part, what did you work on first? The writing of the story through the lyrics, or did you search for the music first? Because tell us about where you got the music.
Yeah, I searched for the music, and I thought, wow, could I get music off Free Music Archive? Well, I mean, obviously anyone can get music off the Free Music Archive. It's a question, of course, of, you know, how good is it? And in the end, it's kind of like I was listening to it and I was thinking, okay, you know, some of it sounds like a little, you know, handmade and processed, and doesn't sound like, you know, real kind of bands playing or whatever. But I thought, I think this can suit the film. Anyway, so I looked for the music tracks first, and then I pared them down and matched them to the scenes, like emotionally. And the film really kind of, you know, plays for its emotion in most scenes. And then I wrote the lyrics, and the singers were brought in and their vocals recorded. And so the soundtrack was complete first, and then the actors mimed to it.
Did the actors ever meet the singers?
Yeah, there's a few of them did. Especially when we were filming that first cafe scene at Red Cacao. A few of the extras in the cafe are actually the singers.
Okay. And so you have some very droll lyrics, I must say. My favourite line is, a lot of our work is admin.
Audiences like that line from the bookstore manager.
Can you tell us about, actually when you were filming then, were the actors, they were listening to the recorded singing and miming to that?
Yeah, they certainly were, and obviously they had to, you know, learn the songs, and they had to go with the rhythms of the songs, which are quite slow at times, and so in the end there's kind of a stylised acting style involved. The old stun mullets of a certain kind of cinema, you know, like taken, you know, for cinephiles, it's taken from the spiritual cinema of Robert Bresson, but it's also obviously in films by some American indie filmmakers and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of like slow cinema, but within a narrative context where there's things going on. So.
Well, I'm going to hand over to you now. Let's have some questions from the audience. I think
even without the microphone, you could probably, we're a small room. If anyone's got anything. Hey Sam, I thought I saw you earlier.
Yes, up the back.
Hi, I kind of got two questions. We certainly understand the inspiration for the style of film, but what spoke to you about the story that sort of compelled you to make the movie, if that makes sense, the story itself? And two, is there anything in the process of like developing the film that maybe got cut in the edit or didn't make it in, or you wanted to do that didn't make it into the film?
Everything is pretty much there. I was actually scared as we were filming that I wouldn't get to film all 25 songs, but all 25 songs have like a little bit of exposition in them with the narrative that actually is important. And we were shooting during COVID and in 2022, and it stretched over about 4 months. And the fear with low budget films is that you're always going to lose people, actors or whoever, to go off and do professional jobs. And so everything's pretty much there that I envisaged. And the first part of the story, again, it's like a homage to Jacques Demy's Umbrellas of Cherbourg, with its tale of a young woman kind of, actualising her life and experiencing love. And it's a different kind of film to mine because it's got that political kind of context of the Algerian War in there. And mine is just a very simple story. I wasn't actually too concerned about the story. I just wanted it as something I could hang the form on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, up the back.
Bill, did you audition
Maria?
people that could actually sing? Or it didn't bother you that the actors...
You mean the singers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the singers, it didn't really bother me. The lead singer for the main actress,
Yeah.
that's a professional singer, Liz Georgievics, and it's funny because she kind of wrote into me and she said, "I'd like to audition for the voice of the young girl who's meant to be 18, 19, and I kind of asked her how old she was, and she said like 43 or something." And I thought, oh, well, this is probably not going to work. And then I heard her and I thought, oh yeah, she works. And a couple of the people in there aren't singers, or they're distinctive singers. As Shay here, who's from Adelaide, he knows Leon Bishop, who has got that deep kind of voice. And so he voices the brother's role. And he's got a really distinctive voice. And I was very happy to have him in the film. And a couple of the others are singers. One girl's in a punk band, and she was doing the mother's voice, and she had to really kind of slow down for it. I think she wanted to let it rip, and she couldn't quite get the pace, but I kind of worked her through it like a conductor.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah.
It was like a really fabulous, quirky, long rage film clip for me. It was fantastic. I loved it.
It's a bit like that. It's like almost like one continuous kind of song, like a symphony or an operetta, and
it's very much an opera.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was a question here in the second row. Yes.
Oh, AJ. Oh, Anna.
Yes.
Sorry, Sam. Go.
Has the main actress done work before?
Yeah, the main actress, as a child, did musicals on stage and a few other things like that, and then she did some short films. And at the moment, actually, she's in Hollywood and kind of at a drama school, the Academy of Dramatic Arts in LA. She's doing a 2-year course there, so obviously she got into that. She's got good acting chops. I really love the kind of expressions on her face. She's got some really nice things going on there, and good luck to her if she wants to be in Hollywood. But She might come back here. She might actually progress there. Who knows? Yeah. AJ?
Oh yeah, just to sorry. You didn't collaborate with actual musicians to reiterate. You just went through public domain music.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I really like some of the
Either way,
stuff.
It's impressive, but yeah, like I haven't
Yeah,
heard of.
you get kind of like there's some nice indie rock in there in the film, and then there's like some classical and jazz. Up the top at the left. Yep. There.
Hi there. Yeah, this might be a stupid question. I'm not sure, but this is the second time I've watched the film, and it's always made me curious. So she goes to the bookstore to get a job, and is offered a volunteer job. That just simply, on a plot level, has always confused me. Why does she take a volunteer job?
Why not? It gives her something
Well,
to do.
it's not paid. It's
She's
not
looking for
fun,
something to do.
But also, is it legal? Like, there's like a whole.
I think it's worse that she's sacked from it.
Oh, you know, you can volunteer for places. It may be illegal, but she's a young girl who just wants to get involved in life. Yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah. Over up the back there. Costa.
Yes. Bill, just there was obviously quite a few bits in the film where they were very funny, comedic. You can see people laughing. Was that
I think they're laughing at the naivety, Costa.
yeah, but was it intentional? Like some of the words and some of the stuff?
Some of it is, absolutely.
Yeah, there was like a deadpan kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's playing with everyday colloquial kind of, you know, utterances, and especially focusing on yes and thank you, and I mean, yeah, I wanted to kind of push the envelope there a bit. Yeah. Up the back, very back.
I love the film. I'm looking forward to seeing it many, many more times. So absolutely fantastic.
You cultists, I know you. There's a cult following in Adelaide at the moment, and you guys are ready for it. You know about it, obviously.
We made something very special. I think you might have answered my question already. You spoke at the beginning about this feeling of authenticity you wanted to create. Also, a mention of opera before. My question relates to the treatment of the voices with the singers that you used. Did you know, audiences are most familiar with quite treated voices these days. You know, we hear a lot of pitch correction, certainly even live and pop music now. Maybe the only place that we don't hear voices actively manipulated is in opera or some live music. What were your considerations with them, with their voices, or were you going for authentic, or were there other considerations with that?
Oh, I mean, certainly, like, realism is one of the things I do, and I just wanted to almost find a musical form, a melodic form that was halfway between speaking and singing, and I think what also happened is that, and this is just like serendipitous or whatever, I did a guide track of all the songs with my voice. So the songs are, of course, in a certain key, and then my voice kind of is fitting that key, but going low register. And then a few of the people struggled to kind of, you know, hit what I wanted. So they're overreaching with the low. And so sometimes they go slightly flat. And I thought about doing pitch correction on a number of those moments. But then I thought, no, I like it. I just, you know, you just do something that's a bit different, even if it sounds a bit odd. I was okay with it. Yeah. Yep, here. Yes, in the red.
Bill.
Yes. Oh, Aaron, g'day.
Yeah, congratulations. I think it's the best thing you've ever done.
How many have you seen?
I've got about 3 on DVD.
Oh, yeah. Not too bad.
My daughter was in one of your films.
Oh, yes. Aaron, that's a film from 2004.
Yeah.
Aaron plays the loving father of a young girl.
Yeah. She was fresh out of the hospital. That's how real it was.
Yeah.
When you said the location, how big an impact was the nature? Because it was very red. Like, I mean, you sort of said you picked it because it was alternative, or like, why did you pick that?
Oh, I also picked it because of those autumnal trees, which, obviously emotionally, I think it kind of works in, and kind of in a way sort of matching Jacques Demy and the kind of magical worlds that he creates with his films. And so I wanted that, fairy tale aspect. The film the narrative almost runs like a fairy tale, and a very realistic one, and it's set in the everyday. But yeah, it is important, that visual element, just to give an emotional kind of feel to proceedings.
And
Passing of seasons as well, of course.
I noticed that too. During COVID, I started discovering John Waters' movies.
Cool. Yeah.
And so it reminded me a bit of Hairspray, and even the early ones like Female Trouble. They weren't specifically. They had their own constructed music in it, I think. Just like real, lo-fi, garage, sort of psychedelic garage punk music. But yeah, it reminded me a lot of John Waters.
Okay, that's interesting.
I had a feeling that it might have been subversive because the film was sort of very, making a statement on the blandness of the place. In a way, the trees are
kind of. It depends how you interpret
well, the trees they struck a nerve with me because they're introduced species. Those trees, they're English oak trees.
Sure.
There's something sort of inherently fake, about it.
Sorry, Aaron. I think there's one question behind you. Sorry.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Matthew here. A lot of your films, I've seen a lot of your films, Bill, you tend not to be so, I suppose, the cinematography was great and fantastic, but you tend to not move the camera around as much as this does. Obviously, there's a lot of movement and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, that was a conscious decision.
Yeah.
I thought it worked really well. Anything you want to say about that, or is that, again, trying to match something else, or why did you move away from the more static sort of approach?
Oh, well, if you make films for 40 years, you can love Bresson and you can love Ozu, but then you want to do something a bit different. And so in the last 10, 15 years, I discovered, Gorel and Demy and Cassavetes and all kinds of people. And obviously this is a homage to Demy. I put my heart on the sleeve when it comes to my influences and my lack of originality in my own work in a way. So I don't know how much time we've got, but
about 2 minutes left.
In the middle, up the back, in the middle.
Hi. So obviously making independent films is hard, as you said, and not being able to pay people and things like that. When it came to the locations, like sometimes in this it felt as if it was not only a love letter to Stirling, but almost like an advertisement for Stirling. How much did that influence the writing in terms of the locations you can get and wanted to get, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's me being a little cheeky, especially in the cafe. They order the hot chocolates, the chili hot chocolates, and we see close-ups of them delivered on the table and things like that. Again, it's just like a little cheesy thing thrown in. Sorry, what was the rest of your question?
It's more about how much were you influenced by what you could get in terms of the writing and vice versa?
The writing?
In terms of the writing of the lyrics and everything, like where you're going to set everything, where, finding a...
Oh yeah, you have to always use what's available. And at that moment, 2 years ago, I really liked Stirling, and I thought this would make a great setting for a Demy-like town. He he uses towns in certain ways. Just maybe one last question up the back.
Yeah. Brilliant work, Bill. I just wanted to say, like I'm a media teacher, and I think it'd be really fantastic and just even hearing some of the comments that people have made and some of the analysis you've given about it, I think it would be great to be able to show it to kids in schools. Like, I guess my bigger question is, how are you thinking about distributing it past, I guess, a cinema release? Like, are you wanting to have it on DVD? Are you wanting to share it anywhere else?
Well, who knows? Who knows what happens with these things? You know, it's a film that's got like a lot of reactions from people, a lot of positive reactions, some negative ones, and then the combination of it's so bad it's good kind of reactions. So at the moment I'm just focusing on individual screenings that I can control with Q&As, and I haven't actually given it to any distributor, and so I'm not sure. That's my honest answer. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. As a filmmaker, I work on intuition, and kind of distributing your films or getting them out there. Again, you work with intuition, and you just kind of sense what's possible, what I would like, all those kind of factors. Yeah.
Well, Bill, thank you so much for transporting us to a different world, a magical world, and thank you, and congratulations on your 11th feature film.
Thanks, Melinda. Thank you.